So we have some huge content coming for Throne and Liberty. As you may have seen, 2-star co-op dungeons coming most likely this November, with a confirmed additional style of co-op dungeon coming soon with a repeatable dungeon experience. As a few of you pointed out, this will be called challenge dungeons and will allow us to obtain things called runes. However, as per their October update, it was announced.
In particular, I want to talk about two systems: substance transformation and the rune system. Neither of these systems will launch in our service with their current functionality. We're working closely with NCSoft to make updates, and both systems will be improved in a way that will satisfy both Korean and global users.
So there you go, confirmed updates coming to that system. And what's really interesting is the Korean server just got that big update to their rune system with those quality of life changes as per these update notes. We can confirm here that
while not all changes are finalized, here are some things I can say for now. For the rune system, it will have at a minimum the following adjustments. Rune slot unlocking will no longer require RNG to obtain your desired slot type. Second, we're introducing a separate rune bag with improved searching capabilities to reduce the burden on your traditional inventory and storage.
And both of those changes are listed here, as they decided to change the socket opening via rune hammers. You will now simply be able to just use Solent at 100% probability. So as he mentioned, there will be no RNG anymore, and much easier not needing to get any of those silly hammers. Additionally, there will be a dedicated bag for your runes, which has 100 spaces. And for those of you on the Korean server, they apologize for delivering it later than expected. So this means they've ultimately gone and reworked their rune system to how they wanted to as per this October update, which means we will very likely get the system for us on global servers pretty soon. Potentially this November with the 2-star co-op dungeons, or perhaps later in December. But what does this rune system entail? What benefits will it actually give us? Let's jump into the details on what to expect. So what are runes? Well, they will basically be little stat boosts that you can obtain for your gear items. For example, we select a weapon here. You will then have 3 rune slots, and there are 3 different types. Each will give a minor stat boost of your choice depending on what you slot in. The Korean server is getting an update that gives them hero grade runes, basically purple runes. We will very likely start with only up to blue. Again, most likely very soon, as they promised a repeatable dungeon experience, which is challenge dungeons, which drops those runes. So what are challenge dungeons? Well, it will simply be a new tab of the dimensional dungeons we currently have. So with these co-op dungeons, again, you'll have a new tab here and you'll be able to queue up to a specific dungeon that week, which will allow you to farm runes. It's not the only way, but it's definitely the most suggested way that you go about this. You can do like dynamic events about getting battle pass rewards and crafting some rune chests, but the main way is going to be these dungeons, which means, yes, that would be their promised repeatable dungeon experience. Now, upgrading runes essentially requires you to obtain a duplicate of that rune, and every duplicate adds 1 level to that rune. So you can see why separate storage is a pretty massive improvement, as you'll want to be hoarding onto tons of them to eventually upgrade the ones you need. We can see a blue rune has 60 levels. So yes, obtaining the duplicate of that rune 60 times to get it upgraded. We will need to do a ton of dungeon farming. These dungeons are rotated, and currently I'm assuming we're going to have, say, 1-star dimension dungeons and then 2-star dimension dungeons. Currently in Korea, they're going up to 3-star dimension dungeons. If you are familiar with the system, they are changing it so rather than you have to kill everything, you can strategically plan what monsters to kill in what order, because they will have a new gauge. So once you reach 100% on that gauge, the door to the final boss opens. Now they've also gone and changed the stages. So each time you do this, challenge dungeon, you can go to a higher level difficulty, and each time it will increase the mechanics up to step 5. As you can see, you get like new boss patterns, new dimensional effects, and they've increased the maximum number of stages all the way to 99 instead of just 30. This is basically done to improve the forming of a party. Previously you had 15 stages, and now you'll just have basically 1 to 5, and from there it's 6 to 99. Each stage after the 5th will simply increase attack power and health, and I assume rewards. They're also getting new chaos runes, which can be randomly awarded. They can be equipped in any socket type. They do not grow, but they have higher level stats than the regular runes. But they have a penalty stat, a reduction stat. So we will be playing these dungeons over and over with increased difficulty to ultimately take away these new runes. The benefits of which, again, are to add to our gear. We can see it will be for weapons, and it will be for accessories. You will then need to unlock the rune slot on that gear piece simply by spending some solent, and once you have it unlocked, you can pick a rune to slot within there. And the combination is going to matter as well. So instead of taking, say, all attack runes, you would be advised to take one of each. And the order matters. So if I remove these, and let's take a defense rune here, and also an assist rune or utility rune, we can now select a synergy effect. This allows you to get different bonuses depending on the combination. That combination has to be very specific to the slot. As you can see here on the right side, if I want the bonus dexterity and critical damage reduction, I need this exact set. If I want the wisdom, then I would need to have it like this, so on and so forth. So having a specific rune in a specific slot will give you a different synergy effect. So you're going to have to be very careful with what you get and work on your build. Now, blue runes will give you these different bonuses, green runes will give you these different ones, and then the grey common ones would give you these different effects. But again, maybe in some cases you could take, say, all attack runes. I personally will have to look what's generally going to be better, but these set effects can be quite powerful, like 600 extra HP and 2 wisdom potentially could be more useful than, say, having another offensive rune, which then ruins your chance of having any synergy at all. Again, each rune has to be leveled up. They're going to start at level 1 and then upgrade to level 60. As far as I'm aware, you don't upgrade runes between different ranks. Like if you go with a grey rune, you can get that to max level 20, but that's it. There's no upgrading to a green rune from there. You simply just get a different rune, slot that in, and if it's a green one, then you can get that one to max level 40. And after that, if you do higher level difficulty content again and get lucky to get the blue rune, you could get that to level 60 and slot that in there. And you can see the differing amount of stats that these runes give you. A defensive blue rune can give you 48 of pretty much all of these defensive stats, or 360 health or mana. A blue attack rune would give you 30 to all of these offensive stats, except 24 to like hit chance, crit chance, and heavy. And then your assist rune would give you like 3% or plus 42 to these different effects. And since there will be 7 gear pieces that can have these runes, that's a lot of extra stats we'll be gaining. And since it's more favored in defense, we will be finding a lot more defensive stats available to us, versus an attack rune gives half as much to your offensive stat. So this is going to take quite some time to max out, and with the main source being these challenge dungeons, that will give us the promised repeatable dungeon experience, where you can even go and increase the difficulty going to the next tier to most likely take away higher quality runes, more runes, things like that. The specifics still have to be confirmed. So overall, I hope this was somewhat insightful, and this is, pretty exciting on what to expect coming in the near future. They did say soon, and their roadmap did say they planned for the new dungeons in November. But they did also say December would be their first major update, so perhaps they want to bring it with that. But I'm more inclined to think December would give us potentially the expansion to the map, new areas here. But we shall see. Thanks all for watching, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.